What is good, everyone? Welcome to the channel, and today a slightly different episode. I am filming indoors today because the weather outside has been particularly awful all week long, so I kind of regret not being able to go out and do my usual style. However, today's topic kind of relates to regrets. I'm talking about avoidable regrets when you live in Japan. I'm going to be outlining 3 different regrets that are easily avoidable, and so whether you are living in Japan now and you hear these and you think, oh, that kind of applies to me, or you're thinking of living in Japan in the future and you think, well, okay, I know what to avoid now. So let's get into it. Alright, before I get into those 3 easily avoidable regrets about living in Japan, please, it's a rainy week, offer the like button a umbrella to help keep it dry, and also be on guard against the subscribe button stealing that umbrella from the like button, because in Japan there really are only 2 types of theft that happen on a regular basis. One is bicycles and the other is umbrellas. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. Alright, the first easily avoidable regret about living in Japan is don't allow yourself to be lulled into a bubble existence and basically end up always staying within your comfort zones. You see, that might sound strange because you've moved all the way across the world to a place where it's a new country, a new society, a new language, new everything. And you think, well, I've done a lot to step out of my normal comfort zones. But the thing is, once you are here, it's very easy to fall back into your own particular bubble. You carve out a little niche in Japanese society where you exist. You end up making a few friends and you get into a routine and you always visit the same restaurants or cafes, and life becomes a bubble of comfort zone once again. Richard Dawkins called it the anesthetic of the familiar, and that is a really good phrase in my opinion, because the familiar that you understand and you know in a country where everything is new and strange, you just allow what has become familiar to be your anesthetic, and you just can easily glide through your day-to-day life without worries. And that means you're not stepping out of your comfort zone. You're not trying new things. You're not continuing to explore, even though you have moved halfway across the world. So this can be done in little ways, like I've taken a point when I visit a restaurant where I've been many times, I deliberately look for something on the menu that I've never ordered before. This actually works really well at kaiten sushi restaurants, the conveyor belt sushi places. There's actually a lot of things on those menus that I've never bothered to try, so there's always something new for me to try each time I go in. Now, that's not terrifically adventurous, but it is a way to do things on a daily basis. You know, you don't have to just always travel to someplace new and spend lots of money. That's not necessary. You can do it in small ways. You can do what my friend Rudy has always done, which is just get into his car and drive on the weekends. Just get lost, essentially. Another friend did this by riding the train. He would get on a train kind of chosen at random, and he'd pick a random time, and wherever he was at that time, he had to get off at that station, or the nearest station to that time. And so he ended up exploring little towns or little areas, finding new cafes, meeting new people, things that he never would have had the chance to do if he hadn't kind of taken on that little adventure of random train stops. So there's a number of different ways you can do this. I mean, look at me. I've started this channel, which is obviously a stepping out of the comfort zone. And it is really a big reason why I do this. It's allowing me to analyze my life in Japan, try new things, be more cognizant of what my daily life is really like so that I can produce it for you. And it's really helped me to kind of gain or regain an appreciation for life here. Your daily existence is not the only bubble that you can get stuck in. The other easily avoidable regret that involves getting stuck in a bubble is not learning the Japanese language. You really should learn Japanese. The problem is, Japan is a country that actually makes it really easy to wrap yourself in a no Japanese bubble. In America, we kind of have this attitude of, okay, you're in America, you should speak English. Or like, your English is not so great, you really should speak better English. In Japan, you say something like, konnichiwa, and you get the sudden exclamations of, oh, Nihongo wa jouzu. And Japanese are patient, they're polite, they're not going to tell you to your face that your Japanese is terrible. And they're not going to correct your Japanese, which actually makes it more difficult to learn Japanese here because people are going to be too polite to tell you, oh, you really shouldn't say it that way, you should say it this way. But it is a learning hurdle you should try to get over, because the more language you know, the better you're going to be able to function in the society, the more you're going to understand about the society and how it functions. You're going to be able to make more friends, connect with more people, just be more aware of the news and what's happening. Being functionally literate is a big thing, right? I mean, imagine going through life in your home country not being able to read anything. How is doing that in Japan really any different? Yes, kanji is ridiculously hard, but it is worth the time and effort. Now, I'm not saying my Japanese is white hot. It is not. I'm actually rather embarrassed by my level of Japanese, despite having been here for, well, we're over 16 years now. And I blame that largely on having a job where I just basically am not supposed to use Japanese and never use Japanese. But I have done a lot of studying on the side. My Japanese is not like at a beginner level. And that fact has served me incredibly well on the day-to-day basis and in my interpersonal relationships. So, easy to avoid mistake, falling into an English only, or whatever your language might be, only bubble. Learn Japanese. The final mistake that is easily avoidable while living in Japan is not trying a new in-depth hobby or point of study outside of the language. So maybe you've had a hobby or an activity involving Japan before you came here. You were really into anime, or you did martial arts or something. By all means, continue those things. But in addition to karate or aikido, add calligraphy, add a musical instrument. Continue going to anime conventions, continue buying figures and collecting manga and whatever it is that you enjoy, but learn Japanese and get into some Japanese literature. Pick up a hobby like flower arranging or tea ceremony, something to deep dive into the culture in a different way than you've already done. You have the opportunity, whether you are here long term or just for a year or two. Don't let that pass you by. I guarantee you, you will regret not, maybe I don't have the money to spend on it or something, but make it happen. Make it happen somehow. Take a deep dive into the culture in one respect or another, because you will not regret it, whether you stay here forever or whether you go back to your home country. Go back to your home country and you can share this hobby and knowledge that you've gained. It's going to change you for the rest of your life, let's put it that way. For me, it was picking up the Japanese shamisen, which is a 3-stringed guitar-like instrument, and also really getting into Japanese woodblock prints, which I did a whole video on that. Feel free to check that out. Okay, if you've made it this far in the video and you haven't given the umbrella to the like button and prevented the subscribe button from getting that umbrella, you haven't done either of those things yet, go ahead and push the button on both of those. We are incredibly close to the 500 subscriber milestone, and honestly, the like button is how the channel gets out to more people. So if you would do that, greatly appreciated. Now, thank you so much for watching this particular video where I talk about easily avoidable regrets, and I hope this helps someone. That was the whole point of doing this video today. Hopefully the weather is better next week, and hopefully I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Peace.